back again to the Calgary Secrets in Plain Sight visual podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Raghaveen. This is episode 3 of 4. In episode 1, we went on a historical journey through Signal Hill and the peaceful sights it has to offer. Episode 2 was all about Inglewood, the oldest community in Calgary. This episode, we're learning all about the Beltline, located just south of the downtown core. The Beltline is a unique and popular area to visit in Calgary. First off, I would like to honor the original caretakers of the land that the city of Calgary resides on. We acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Piikani, Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda Nations, the Métis Nations Region 3, and all the people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. Directly south of the downtown core of Calgary, the Beltline falls right below the CP railway tracks. Many people often consider the Beltline to be a part of downtown since it is so close and easy to reach from the core. The communities of Connaught and Victoria Park amalgamated into the Beltline, which got its name from an early 20th century streetcar route. Most of Calgary's heritage sites are actually in the Beltline. Connaught School, located on the western side of the Beltline, is built of high-quality sandstone masonry. This material was chosen for its longevity and safety from fire hazards. The school got its name from the Governor-General of the day, the Duke of Connaught. The school is one of the biggest sandstone buildings and was completed in 1911. An addition of a third floor was added in 1920 to increase space for the large flow of students attending. There's a separate entrance for the boys and the girls, which was actually quite common back in the day. Connaught School had a large impact on the future of the Beltline. The school solidified the residential area of Connaught and made it more desirable for families. This school is still being used to this day. In 1910, the telephone substation was built to house automatic exchanges for the telephone systems. This building is particularly interesting as it has a couple of brick walls. It's got an inner brick wall layer as well as an outer brick wall with concrete as the shell to help keep all of the telephone equipment and switchboards safe inside. This building was last used in 1933. After that, the American Women's Club used it as their clubhouse location. They would meet to socialize and play crib. The Beltline is west of the Elbow River on one edge and goes all the way to the Stampede grounds on the other. The Stampede is a yearly event that many locals and international travelers attend. It features carnival games, rides, parties, and rodeo events. It's fun for the whole family. A common event around Calgary during the Stampede Festival is to host a pancake breakfast. Many people gather with their friends to attend events in their cowboy boots, cowboy hats, and plaid shirts. Of course, during the pandemic in 2020, the Stampede was postponed for health reasons. Many Calgarians are excited for the yearly event to return. The southern base of the Beltline is called 17th Avenue, also known as the Red Mile, for the playoff run of the Calgary NHL team, the Calgary Flames, in 2004. The Red Mile features plenty of food options, activities, and events. Many Calgarians gather on 17th Ave to see their friends, visit local restaurants, grab coffee, or listen to music in the park. There's plenty of trendy dining options, as well as boutiques selling unique fashion and gifts. The Beltline makes for a great place to take a date because of its central location in the city, its proximity to ice cream shops, and the limitless activities it presents. The nightlife in the Beltline is upbeat and lively, with many craft beer pubs and dancing to take part in. It would be hard not to run into someone you know on the Red Mile. Just northeast of 17th Ave is Central Memorial Park. It is Calgary's oldest surviving park. A tribute to those who fought in Canada's wars, Central Memorial Park hosts Victorian flower beds and paved paths. The landscape gardens are beautifully kept. A couple of gorgeous water fountains add to the calm ambiance of the park that gives you a moment of tranquility in the middle of the city. Central Memorial Park also features the local library where Calgarians can borrow a book to read or use the computers or just find some peace and quiet. Many people who work downtown use Central Memorial Park as a place to relax for their lunchtime break from work at the office. Along the south side of the park are some restaurants to enjoy as well. There is no shortage of beautiful flowers to enjoy on your walks in the Beltline. The Beltline features a lot of art, murals, statues, and old architecture. There is a cement park on the west end meant for people to gather and enjoy their lunch or coffee with friends and coworkers. There is even a ping pong table that anyone can use. Perhaps one of the most iconic features of the Beltline is the Lougheed House, which is a National Historic Site of Canada. Originally known as Beau Lieu, which is French for beautiful place. Constructed in 1891 as a home for the Senator James Alexander Lougheed and his spouse Isabella Clark Hardisty, the Lougheed House has had many roles throughout history. At the time, the house was built with what was considered a lot of modern luxuries, such as running hot water and some electricity, and it was considered a mansion. It has a high Victorian aesthetic, as seen by the rough-faced sandstone exterior walls and cone-like towers on the corners. The mansion has quite a fancy interior. It was constructed with Italian marble, stained glass windows, and features 48 rooms. The mansion was a prominent location for many parties and events, and quickly became the center of Calgary's social scene. After James Lougheed's death in 1925, the Lougheed House eventually became under possession of the city of Calgary after the estate could no longer pay the property taxes. The surviving family of James Lougheed were allowed by the city to live in the house until Isabella's passing in 1936, and the final Lougheeds moved out in 1938. During the Second World War, the Lougheed House's basement was used by the Canadian Red Cross as a blood donor clinic, while the upper floors were used as barracks for the Canadian Women's Army Corps. After the war, the Lougheed House went through many transformations. Being an Alberta Provincial Historical Resource designation, the purchase occurred while Peter Lougheed, the grandson of James Lougheed, was premier. However, Peter Lougheed was hesitant to use public funds to restore the house while premier in 1978. So eventually, the Lougheed House Conservation Society, created in 1995, helped restore the mansion and the surrounding area to create the enjoyable, beautiful, and well-kept space it is today. Surrounding the house, the Beaulieu Gardens are a great place to relax on a warm, sunny day. You can bring a blanket, have a picnic, stop and smell the roses. If you take a walk around the house, you will notice that there's a garden. But this garden isn't just for flowers. It has food, too. There's squashes, corn, and many other herbs. On the east side of the Beltline, you will find Radio Block. This building is one of the few buildings that was built in Calgary between World War I and World War II. Radio Block, though, has never housed a radio station. It's named Radio Block because the word radio was such a new word for the time and gave off feelings of innovation and monetary advancement. Radio Block was built in 1922, which happened to be the year that many broadcasts began in Calgary, so the name Radio Block really does make sense for that time. The building looks more modern than a lot of the other buildings in the Beltline because of its unique time of construction. It has these features called speed styles, which are more popular in the modernist era, as well as it has brickwork on the exterior with a fun diagonal-facing entrance. The Beltline is recognizable generally by its array of sandstone buildings like the Lougheed House, but there's also schools and churches who mimic this building style. The Beltline is an amalgamation of urban living and shopping districts set within the city's historical landscape. If you live in the Beltline, your options are limitless. Downtown Calgary has a lot of iconic features for visitors to recognize. A walk north from the Beltline will take you to the Bow River and the Peace Bridge. The Peace Bridge is a walking bridge that is frequented often by Calgarians. It's rare to see no one at the Peace Bridge. Many locals love to gather there to go for walks. They use it for their commute to work or to take photos with their friends. It's a beautifully designed bridge and a must-see in Calgary. I hope that this episode of Calgary's Secrets in Plain Sight has enlightened you on the experiences you can have in the Beltline and the rich history that holds it as a unique and critical part of the city. If you're planning on heading downtown anytime soon, grab some friends and venture along the Red Mile. Visit the Lougheed House, take a break in the Central Memorial Park, or visit the Stampede Park. Please join me in the fourth and final episode of this podcast series as we venture just northeast of the river to Bridgeland Riverside.